Ghana Shippers Authority, providing shipping solutions.
Gracefield morning, a warm welcome to Maritime and Port News. Maritime and Port News is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Shippers Authority. They provide you with the best in all your shipping solutions. You can always contact them at the Shippers House in Accra. You can also join us live on YouTube on Omanfm and also on Facebook on Netu TVGH. And you can also tune in if you're in Kumasi to Ash FM and listen to Maritime and Port News. My name is Nanesi Boateng. Let's take a look at our stories this morning. The White House announced steps focusing on long-term supply chain resilience to mark the one-year anniversary since President Biden signed an executive order to strengthen the nation's supply chain in the midst of disruption from the COVID-19 pandemic. The executive order signed 1 year ago on Thursday involved an all-government approach to assessing vulnerabilities in the supply chain. And senior administration officials said supply chains has been a personal focus for President Biden. Officials also said that because of the focus on supply chain, the U.S. is prepared to combat any disruption. Because for President Biden, officials also said that because of the focus on supply chain, the U.S. is prepared to combat any disruptions that Russia's invasion of Ukraine would cause to the American economy. On Thursday, 7 cabinet agencies published reports identifying key weaknesses in supply chains, diversion and multi-year strategies to address them. Now, the White House is also publishing a capstone report that provides an overview of the key action the administration has taken. Officials call the report a crucial milestone and called supply chain resilience an enduring national priority. Officials announced new steps, including providing funds from the bipartisanship infrastructure law to move critical goods from ships to shelves faster and cheaper. The steps also aim to build on last year's American rescue plans towards a more competitive and resilient meat and poultry supply chain, providing $25 million in grant for the food processing workforce. The American Anti-Corruption Network, has released the result and lessons learned from 10 years of collecting data of cancerous corrupt demand in maritime trade. This data has been collected in over a decade through MCAN, Anonymous Incident Reporting Platform, a system designed to allow the maritime industry to report when it has been faced with corrupt demand in ports globally. The reporting system has close to 50,000 incidents reported in over 1,000 ports across 149 countries, with the Suez Canal topping the corruption ranks. Now, this report, the first of its kind covering maritime corruption, provides a unique insight into the scale, type, and volume of corruption in the maritime supply chain. Across the world's port, corrupt demands are most commonly made for cigarette, alcohol, and cash. According to the McAn data, the most commonly reported actor to demand bribes are port authorities, that's the 20.9%, pilots 16.5%, customs 12.7%, and port agents 8.2%. While multi-actors are reportedly involved in making corrupt demands, the consequences of rejecting such demands is similar across world's ports. McAn CEO Cecilia Mola said that at a time when supply chain and economies are under increasing pressure, corruption is having a real impact on trade and livelihoods. Now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, McCann has noticed that the incidents have dropped in number, most likely due to reduced interaction with port authorities and increased adoption of electronic system for vessel clearance. McCann says vessel is looking to make incidents data available to its members across the country and also profile it to ensure that in the years ahead this act would be reduced. If you just join us, you're listening to Maritime and Port News. To help Ghana enhance its local content participation in the oil and gas industry, the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum Commission have launched the Ghana Widening Bureau to train Ghanaians to take over the crafts in the industry. The move forms part of government's agenda to train Ghanaians for available job roles in the upstream oil and gas sector through the Accelerated Oil and Gas Capacity Building Program. Among others, the Ghana Welding Bureau will be a key step to achieving the global competitiveness required for Ghanaian skills for certification and standards. The Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, said at the launch in Accra that welding as a technical skill is not only relevant in the upstream petroleum industry but also other industries such as manufacturing and agriculture, and to take over the commanding height of the economy, Ghanaians must be equipped to occupy important areas in the job market. If you just join us, you're listening to Maritime and Port News. Oil prices jumped yesterday with Brent rising over $100 a barrel for the first time since 2014 after Russia attacked Ukraine, exacerbating concerns about disruption global energy supply. Russia launched an all-out invasion of Ukraine by land, air and sea, the biggest attack by one state against another in Europe since World War II. Brent crude rose $7.7 or 7.3% to $103.91 a barrel at 0944 GMT. Now, the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude jumped $6.43 or 7% to $98.53 a barrel. UBS analyst Gavin Steve Knowles said Russia is the third largest oil producer, the second largest oil exporter. Given low inventories and dwindling spare capacity, the oil market cannot afford large supply disruptions. He added that supply concerns may also spur oil stockpiling activities which support prices. Russia is also the largest provider of natural gas to Europe, providing about 35% of its supply. The United States and Europe have promised the toughest sanctions on Russia in response. Now, in our final story this morning, India's only state-owned and operated container terminal has reportedly started turning away ships after suffering what is believed to be a ransom attack on its computer system. Media report indicates that the terminal discovered the attack on February 21st and today began diverting ships to other terminal in the complex located near Mumbai. The Jawaharlal Nehru Port Container Terminal is one of the 5 container terminals in India's largest container port, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, which accounts for half of all containers handled in India. While the terminal is the smallest in the port complex, the outage comes as the government is actively pursuing the privatization of the facility. Now, reports indicate that a total of 12 bidders, including the large international container terminal operators, all entered bids for the privatization of the operation. The failure of its computer system had complained in the industry that investment at the terminal have been lagging. Indian media report indicated that officials of the terminal were working feverishly all day attempting to restore their system. However, they had warned that they would have to begin turning away ships as of the as if the system had not been restored. Container traffic at the overall port operated by the Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust rose by more than 25% in 2001 to over 5.6 million TEUs. The two largest terminals each for the first time handled more than 1 million TEUs in the calendar year. But as we speak, ships are being turned away from the India's port. On this note, we wrap up this morning's edition of Maritime and Port News. Maritime and Port News is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Shippers Authority. They provide you with the best in oil shipping solutions. You can contact them at the Shippers House in Accra. You can always log on to Maritime and Port News on Omanfm and on the 2TVGH on our YouTube channel and Facebook, and listen to Maritime and Port News on FM in Kumasi. My name is Nanisi Boateng, my producer. Have a great weekend.
Spanish garlic mixture and then the capsules.